Just a quick video. I know I've been gone for a while. Been doing a lot of traveling. For those of y'all that don't know, my obviously the name of my channel has to do with traveling, but I never discussed on how I get to travel and how I pay for it and things like that. And it's really a true blessing. So first start off with uh, what I do. So I'm in the U.S. Coast Guard. I happen to be a senior chief. I'm an operations specialist. Operations specialist, we do a lot of search and rescue operations, things of that nature, law enforcement coordination, maritime safety, maritime security, etc. And in order for us to perform search and rescue, we have a search and rescue software that we use that basically tells us, let's say you fall in the water while you're on your boat and they realize it an hour later, all of a sudden, right? And let's say they happen to look at the GPS, the global positioning system on your boat, and they realize, okay, we were in this position an hour later. You can put in the computer, the software, you can put in that position, tell the computer that it happened an hour later, and that thing will do what we call a drift, which will basically float your body or whoever you are or what it is for that hour or that amount of time that's a gap between the time that you fell in the water and time that somebody can get out there to rescue you and start searching for you. Now, a couple assumptions have to be made, and they have to be made that you had a life jacket. If you didn't have a life jacket, of course, your chances of survival are a little bit diminished. And you also have to have an open airway. Considering that you're alive. The one thing that you can never factor in when you're looking for somebody is their will to live. Basically, how far are they willing to push it? How long are they willing to wait till they give up and believe that no one's coming to them? Because we see it all the time. People think no one's coming to get them. They give up. Um, they just let nature do its thing. They pass, and then all of a sudden we get there like 30 minutes later. And the way we're able to tell is by the autopsy, you tell what time the person more likely passed. And it's like, oh, crap, man. They just would have held on just a little bit longer. So part of my job is I get to go around the globe helping our international partners get their hands on this same software so they can also do search and rescue as efficient as Coast Guard. If you're not aware, the U.S. Coast Guard, we are the global top dog when it comes to all things. Please look to us for guidance. I get phone call all the time from Argentina or Uruguay, the UK, etc. They'll ask us what's the best way to conduct search and rescue. So that's something that I truly enjoy. Part of my job is it's weird. It's a unicorn job. Is I'm the guy that gets to sit in the seat. I get to call up all the various offices. I get to call up our international affairs office, our acquisitions office, and embassies, and folks that work for the State Department and coordinate the logistics and all the paperwork that it takes to get over to that country to basically give them that software. First, we have to make sure that their infrastructure can support it, that their internet's good enough, etc. Then we go over there, we install it, we teach people how to use it, we train them, and then we come back to support them. So those are just a few things I get to do. Thanks, thanks for joining. My pleasure. Well, place I've been, and I've only been in this job for a year. I have been to Tunisia. I've got to go to Iceland. I've got to go to Spain, Portugal, France, Vietnam, Japan, Korea, and the Philippines. Uh, some of the places that are upcoming. Oh yeah, Costa Rica. Can't forget about Costa Rica. Some of the places that are upcoming on my trips are going to be Costa Rica, looking at Malta, Thailand, Lebanon, a bunch of other places. We're in countries that you wouldn't think we're in. Let's say this: don't always believe everything on the news. The news, they make it seem like America is battling out everybody, right? We have a lot of international partners that work great with the U.S. Countries that you wouldn't even think about that work with us, and the reason why is because we have embassies there. Department of State. If you know about them, they're all about humanitarian aid, strengthening our partnerships with nations that we haven't gotten along with in the past, or typically wouldn't get along. They help us get along by maintaining a presence in that country and basically doing diplomatic service with that country. So that's how we get into a lot of different countries. I didn't even know where Tunisia was. I had to look it up on the map. It was one country. I ain't gonna lie. And man, I ain't gonna lie. This is one of my favorite countries to visit. Very interesting. That's for a whole nother day and subject. But so how do we get there? So what it looks like is a country calls up our International Affairs Office or our Office of Search and Rescue, which is where I used to work at before, also known as CSR. They call them up and say, "Oh, I heard you guys got this amazing software. Um, it's called SAROPS, SAROPS, stands for Search and Rescue Optimal Planning System." And they say, "Hey, we would love to get a demo and see how it works and see how you use it." So, all right, we get on a Teams call, Zoom, whatever you want to call it, show them how to use it, see if it's something they're interested in. Now, here's the catch: there's two ways to go about it. Highly bureaucratic and takes freaking forever. The process, I ain't gonna lie. That's the only, I guess, one of the frustrating things about the job. But we could tell them like, hey, if you want to pay for this on your own, that will and fork the cost. That will make things a lot quicker, but not really sometimes. Or you can go through the lengthy process. So we got to catch they want to fork it because I mean the software itself um, doesn't even really cost. It's mostly the travel training that costs for us to get to that country. So the average time, like if we're going to install a server, etc., give you some cabling, blah blah blah. The most I've seen it cost would be like 60 grand, right? Which for a country, that's not a lot of money. Now there is a catch. There is 45 grand a year that you have to pay for environmental data services, which is how you get your weather. So the computer, you wonder how they know where to go. Um, you feel like American hit Babylon. uh, so I believe in the Bible, and I've looked in the Bible. I haven't. I don't feel so. I'll say totally off subject. Yeah, I mean, some of the things we do, yeah, it's kind of Babylonish, but that's not the topic for today's thing. So I can get in that some other time. I'm in the Coast Guard. But yeah, one of the things that so if they have the money, they can purchase the hardware themselves. But in order to get the software, they have to go through this process. It's called a letter of request. They got to send this request to the powers that be. They look at that country. They look at our relationship with the country, and decide whether it's I guess lucrative to give them the software. Um, Not sure if y'all seen it on. There's like all kinds of channels out there where U.S. Coast Guard. We are military branch, but we're also a federal agency, so we get to switch hats depending on what we're doing. So when we're over doing these things, we're part of federal government. We're working on behalf of the U.S. Embassy or State Department in that country. We're not there on military business, but even though we're part of the military. Um, But yeah, once they agree, okay, it may be take about like 6 months. This whole process where they fill out the letter, paperwork, etc. They request it. The embassy and the Coast Guard powers that be say, "Yep, cool, you can get this software." Then after that, they send them a letter of acceptance with conditions. If they accept it, then we get ready to install it. Let's see, are you talking about any specific software? Yeah, it's called SAROps. It stands for, it's an acronym, stands for Search Rescue Optimal Planning System. And one of the things that it connects to is GPS as far as your global positioning system. And it's mostly we use it for search rescue cases. That's how we end up finding people all the time. Like Katrina was wild. So yeah, anytime you fall in the water and you call the U.S. Coast Guard, they're going to be using this software to find you. It's the one software in the world that is actually live. It's basically near real time data, and it takes active live weather and conditions to figure out where you're going to be at based on what's happening. Yeah, I find it very cool. It's a very cool job. I don't know how I got this, man. God bless me for sure. Uh, but yeah, so after that, they say, okay, now we want the software. So then that's when they're in my hands. That's when I basically work with the embassy directly, cut out all the middle people, and say, when can we come over there? This is my availability. Cool thing is, off my availability because obviously I'm a person. I got life. I got a family, so I'm not available just at anyone's checking. And out their availability a year ahead, so I already have that listed down. And then I get to tell them, okay, here's our availability if you want the training. Here's our availability for us to come do a site survey, let you know what you need in order to get the software. Here's my availability for installation. And we get to travel over there. We go over there, we meet with the embassy. And Monday through Friday, we're working, installing the software, teaching people how to train on software. And of course, I'm taking full advantage every day after work. I'm grinding. I hit to go do sightseeing, everything I can do. Want to take full advantage that I'm over there and see a lot of cool things. So, some of the things that I'll show on the channel. When I was in Vietnam, there's a place called Nha Trang, Nhatrang, and you get to go up 1,000 stairs to see this big Jesus statue. Climb up it and take picture along the arms of Jesus. That was freaking amazing. Do you personally go out for? Yeah, I personally go out for the installations. So I'm an operator specialist, so I'm not authorized. Some contractors that go to us, they do the physical install while they're doing that, and I help them set up the training gear. So I do a lot of IT things, even though I'm not an IT. So I've learned a lot. It's cool. It's going to help me for when I get out of the military for next job. So it's pretty cool. I get to do that. But they'll teach me a bunch of stuff. I'll ask a lot of questions, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, that's one of the best perks. Yeah, I get to go over there. I make everything happen. I show up. Somebody else does it, and then I get there, getting all the gear there, purchasing everything. That's all on me. So of course, without us getting things there, nothing. We don't have anything to do. But the ITs install everything. I watch them, ask them questions. They teach me because I'm a big team player. So even though I'm not I'm an IT, a lot of times things situations where like Vietnam, we got there. We had to install 25 computers in order to do our training because American Airlines lost my bags, lost lost all of our government computers, lost them for freaking 32 days, and then had audacity to be like, "Oh, sorry for that. Here's 7,500 miles." That's ridiculous. Anyway, that's side subject, but yeah. So they lost our gear, so we had to install programs from scratch, which not all computers are equal. That took about 3 days to do. Set it up using like VMware and things like that. Um, so we were able to do that. That took forever, and so that would take forever for one person to do. So I was like, hey, let me help you and show me how to do it. So then they show me how to do it, write it on directions, and I just mimic. So that's a really good thing. All right, Steve Sparky. Yeah, so someone in IT, you're gonna have a field day when you're officially out of service. Of the beast military. Yeah, yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Coast Guard. So, for example, I'm an operations specialist, right? They have operations specialists in Navy too, because Coast Guard and Navy all have the same rank structure. But operations specialists in the Coast Guard, I do what IT does. Some of their OS do. I get to learn a lot of different things. When I get out of service, it's just going to be picking what I want to do. But yeah, thanks for joining, Steve Sparky. Uh, but yeah, I get to show up, do a lot of cool work, do God's work, and then we get back. I take a lot of videos of there. I do a lot when I'm out there. I don't waste any time. I jump full in, whether I speak language or I don't. I jump in and go to the places, not just where tourists are at, but where the locals are at. Get their experiences, do things that only they do, and yeah, I'm using Chat GPT for translation because one thing I learned, especially in Asia, is Google Translate. It works, right? It'll say things to people in the same tone that you use based off the words you use. So for Americans, we're very direct. For example, in Asia, they're very indirect, a little bit more passive in their approach on how they handle conflict. So when I tell ChatGPT or I told Google Translate, tell the hotel this because I'm having these issues, even though it's straight to the point and it's polite, it's too direct for them because that give you a lot of communication in their world use, not just Google stuff you can just Google. A year and a half since I started this job, I'm kind of overwhelmed with new content that I need to upload, but so many off all the places I've been. But I'm telling you, but it's been a great time sharing this with you guys. One thing I believe is some of the challenges I deal with. Here's the biggest challenge about this job, and the unique thing is, yes, I'm a senior chief, right? But I am the only active duty person in this role. I work with all contractors, civilians, senior officers, senior officials, right? So when it comes to rank, because military does go by rank and the government goes by rank, I am the low man on the totem pole, right? It's a unique thing how me having the least seniority, I'm the one that basically indirectly leads people to where we need to go. I do that. I'm very good at conflict resolution. Uh, I worked on throughout the years, and people told me I sucked at it before, but I got better at being diplomatic, working on emotional intelligence, all these things that people told me I didn't have and grilled me and gave me a hard time because I didn't have. I'm so glad that they did because I needed that in this job, and that has basically helped me get things done. But when let's say commander or captain has a certain approach that is kind of status quo, and you have the opportunity to recommend a different approach and show data that supports it, that it's lucrative and it's in the best interest of everyone,